How's it going, YouTube? Jamie the Kid 00 here, bringing you guys one of the more kind of hyped up decks for the January 2014 format. Now that it's kind of establishing its own meta of sorts, a lot of people have been ranting and raving on about Prophecy, but not just any Prophecy build. They've been talking about the world of Prophecy build, and there've been a lot of more interesting cards that have been entering the builds. Some ratios are changing quite a lot. And I've been quite busy, but I quickly stole a list, made a couple of changes, mainly because I couldn't find my Stoics in time, Stoics of Prophecy, which some of the lists have been playing. I threw this together, played it at locals. I only ended up going 3-2 because my deck was really clunky and some of the hands I opened were dire. But if I was to play this deck again, I would make some changes, which I guess I'll talk about in the video if I remember to. But I don't plan on playing this again. I'm probably going to be playing Mermail and things like that I prefer because this deck is very, very boring. But some of you guys have asked me for a list, especially for the world variant, so I figured to bring you it, and I'm just going to be doing this in a new style as well, with the camera between me and the deck instead of being opposite me. I feel that this is a lot easier because I can do this as if it were my own hands. The only problem is, when I was testing the footage, it seems to be a lot better now, but the autofocus was going crazy before. So we're going to get into the list. We're playing 2 copies of World of Prophecy. Now this could be controversial, but I immediately saw the mentality of this when I was actually playtesting the deck and when I actually did play it at the event. The main reason we play 2 is if you lose one to bottomless, or if you draw one, you have a way to keep making your world plays. More often than not, you will play the second because if you draw one, you know you're golden. You can still make a push even with one world in the deck. But it does also protect you from if you get one bottomless, if you don't have the wisdom at the time, if you get one prisoned, all sorts of things. So world is just there. Something I wish I'd cut down to 1 instead of and put in 1 Stoic instead is the 2 copies of High Priestess of Prophecy. I did not like playing 2. Having the 4 boss monsters in the deck clogged. I should also say that at 2 points in the day I did draw double world. One of those games I did actually win, so it was pretty crazy. I guess I'll put my matchups in the description below, or talk about them later on. But this is more of a deck profile than a tournament report. I'm playing 3 copies of Spellbook Magician, because you still have to play the 3 Spellbook Magician. It's still incredibly standard. And then the 3 copies of Temperance to get our plays off. The 3 Temperance, sometimes you draw the last one dead, but you really just want to you play 3, if you want to get to it as fast as possible, you only ever want to resolve one of these and then just start lifing world rather than temperancing for it again. But I suppose having the second Priestess was like one of the few good points of having the second Priestess was that the second world was, so the second Temperance was usually live if I drew it. And I then mained Double Veiler as an experiment, and these were really good when I did draw them. I didn't see them very often, but they were pretty effective, so I'm glad I've actually started main decking Veiler again, because I haven't played Veiler in a very long time. So that's the monsters. Now on to the all-important spells. I played 1 Dark Hole and 1 Book of Moon as the only kind of staple spells. Dark Hole, Mass Removal, Book of Moon gets you around Veiler, which actually happened today. I was playing against a Dark World, no, yesterday. I was actually playing against a Dark World player who had Veiler in his main. He Veilered my my Book Magician, and I had the Book of Moon to go against it. So for the spellbooks, we play 3 copies of Spellbook of Crescent. Spellbook of the Crescent, in my opinion, is a card you have to play. I absolutely love Crescent. I love it at 3. You just want to get to it as fast as possible. And with this variant, you use World quite a lot, and you clean out your graveyard quite a lot by banishing stuff with Fate or towering stuff back. So the second and third library are actually live a surprising amount of the time. And having 1 dead in hand isn't always a bad thing, because it's a spellbook that you know is always going to be in hand to reveal for Life, Master, and World. So having a dead one isn't necessarily so dead. I then played, of course, the obligatory 3 copies of Spellbook of Secrets. You have to play those, and I'm still looking for another ulti. 2 copies of Spellbook of the Master. 2 copies of the Grand Spellbook Tower. I almost wish I was playing 3, because almost every match I played against, except for Battle and Boxes, was Field Spell Wars. I played against Dark World, Medulce, and I can't remember who the last player was, and I'm sorry because I've forgotten, and I'll remember it later on knowing me, but it was Field Spell Wars and a half yesterday, so there was that. Double Book of Life. This is incredibly powerful with World. Sorry I'm having to speed this up, but my food is in the oven, so I want to get this done relatively quickly. 2 copies of Spellbook of Eternity, because you want to recycle your stuff. Long story short, off of Fate. Like, it's a pseudo-secrets if you have a Secrets Engrave, and Fate can set you up with other plays, so I like Eternity. 2, Double Wisdom, because more traps are starting to see play, especially with Fire Fist becoming a lot more popular, so the Double Wisdom is a thing you have to play. 1 copy of Spellbook of Power. I still don't think that more than 1 is necessary. You only ever need the 1. And then 1 copy of Spellbook of Fate. Sadly at 1. It being at 1 does actually hurt the deck a fair amount. If your Fate gets into the grave and both of your towers get into the grave without putting the Fate back, you pretty much lose. I've found out. So that is now my new strategy for beating this deck. Making sure the Fate stays in the graveyard, and then making sure you kill both the towers. I mean, even if the towers activate, just get both towers off the field as quickly as possible, and try and stop them from putting back the Fate or removing the Fate from play, which they shouldn't be able to do anyway. So that is all the spells. And I just kind of caught my nail on the playmat and it felt horrible, so I'm shivering now. For the traps, 3 copies of Reckless Greed. This is a weird pick, but a lot of people have been siding with it recently, and people have been really enjoying it. It's the same. It follows the same mentality as playing Reckless Greed in Dark Worlds, because Spellbook Tower, the Grand Spellbook Tower gives you a draw every turn, so you kind of lose your draw phase. You go down from 2 draws a turn to 1. So, oh boohoo, you go down to 1 draw a turn. I hear that's still pretty broken. Double Raigeki Break. This was really useful because I was playing the 4 boss monsters. It stopped them from being dead in hand. And there's nothing better than like Raigeki breaking a world out of your hand, because it means that world is then live, and you can spellbook a life that world almost immediately. And in fact, I actually did tribute summon a world today just to get it live. Yesterday to get it live. And then for the other traps, I'll take 1 Mirror Force, 1 Bottomless, and 1 Warning. I don't like Tarantula in this deck because you want to keep field presence, and I'm not a big fan of Compulse at the moment, because Compulse has been kind of just proven to be a bit bad for me. So that's the main. I'm sorry I'm speeding through it, but a lot of you have seen most of it already, so I can only give so much reasoning. There is one thing wrong with this extra deck. I didn't put in a Daigusto Phoenix, because I couldn't find mine, but I've since found it, and I would put it in. So there should be a Daigusto Phoenix in here, so cut whatever you wish to cut for that. I played 1 TG Hyper Librarian. I actually made this. This is one of the few things I made from the extra deck, because you hardly ever need the extra. 1 Tempest Magician, 1 HTS Psyhemoth, 1 Arcanite Magician, 1 Stardust Dragon, 1 Scrap Dragon, and 1 Star Eater, which was kind of in here as a joke card, so you could cut this for, what's he called, Daigusto Phoenix. He was mainly in here because of, if you had 2 Veilers in grave and a world on board, you could, or a Veil, you could just, you could life 1 Veiler back, banishing the other Veiler, and then sync with the world for this, but it was just something funny. Shining Elf, I made this once. Herald of Pure Light, I made this once. Gachi Gentetsu, I made him once and then worlded, because I had 2 Spellbook Magicians and I wanted to make a world play, so I Gachi'd and then worlded, which was great. 1 Zen Mains, in case I drew 2 Temperances, and you could make him, but I never made him. And then 3 7s in the form of Draco Sack. Big Eye, and the only reason I played Hierophant was because he was a good heavy storm, I guess, but mainly because he's on the playmat, so I thought why not. And then tokens, yay, Mecha Phantom Beasts. I always like to have tokens on me, even if I'm not playing token-based cards, because, hey, you can loan them out to your friends or your opponent, if they're not your friend. For the side was really bad, but this is what I played. The 2 Fossil Diner, this isn't even organised, what am I doing? 2 Fossil Diner, 2 Kaiku for agents and all the other random stuff that could want their grave. 1 Breaker, because it was the 15th card. 3 Mystical Space Typhoon for dealing with DNA surgery, because I was told that my locals had blown up with DNA surgery while I was away. Some of these cards are in different sleeves, because these are the Blue Eyes sleeves, so I only got 50, so I'm missing. I don't have enough. Double Poisonous Wind, because I can't remember what I was playing this for, but a friend of mine recommended that I play it, and I just thought, why not? I have it in my deck box. I can't remember what deck it was for now, and it's going to bite me in the ass. Like, at the end of this video, I'll be all like, oh, yeah, it was that, like, just after I stop recording, but I can't for the life of me remember why, but the Poisonous Winds were in there. Harpies, that's why. Because you're able to keep their field spell at bay with your tower. Then 3 copies of Debunk for the dragon-based deck, which I know some people have been playing at my locals, and Mermail. Long story short. And it also stops hand traps, it's a thing that can stop that. And then 2 Light Mirror, and Debunk is also in the Fibutions, and then the Light Mirrors are in Fibutions as well. So yeah, that was, this is the complete Prophecy deck that I've been playing recently. I'm pretty pleased with it. I actually really like playing Double World. I would cut down to 1 Priestess. I wouldn't cut Priestess entirely, because Priestess is a really nice card. But otherwise, I think that's about everything I want to talk about. This has been one of my shorter deck profiles, but to be honest, if you want to see some of my theory on the deck, please just watch some of my other 5 or 6 Prophecy deck profiles. I have enough of them. So, I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please let me know what you've thought of this new camera angle. And I'm sorry about my horrible bony hands. Also, for the people who ask, this is a birthmark. It's not a burn or anything like that, so don't worry, nothing's happened to me. I've had this since I was born. Ignore it. just while I remember. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this perspective. Any questions, put them in the comment section below. Any comments on the build, please put them down below. If you're going to turn around and say this is a bad build, please actually give me some reasoning behind it, because otherwise I'm just going to delete the comment. Because I'm sick and tired of just saying, lol, this is a bad build. I'm like, justify it please, so I can learn as a player. But yeah, otherwise, this is Jamie the Kid 00. I should also say at the very end of this, because I forgot to at the start, thank you so much for helping me breach the 10,000 subscriber mark. I know I haven't really said anything about it, but there is going to be a video eventually. I'm very busy at the moment, but I just wanted to build this. I wanted to do this video because I need to take this deck apart. I didn't want to have to put it back together for a video. But yeah, thank you guys so much for helping me pass 10,000 subscribers. I'm hoping to reach 20,000 before the end of the year. That will be an unprecedented level of growth, and I really hope you guys are still here with me when I do eventually get that far. Otherwise, yep, this is Jamie the Kid 00. I'll see you guys next time with some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Related content. Peace out.